It's fantasy football draft season. We're headed into Labor Day, headed into the start of the season, and today we're going to talk about a bunch of running backs. We're going to talk about some upside plays, guys you're watching out for on the waiver wire, guys I haven't talked about in a bit, and I want to talk about them today. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're talking about these players every day. Draft strategies, the waiver wire, finding gems, setting lineups, looking at the matchups. It's all right here. Click that button. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. But we're going to start off with a future waiver wire dandy that you need to pay attention to. You need to pay attention to backfield and everything else to this team. Jarquez Hunter. We like Kyron Williams. Nothing against Kyron Williams, but he does play the running back position, and you always look at the backups when you're looking at the starter, and you're looking at Jarquez Hunter. Of course, you're looking at Blake Corum. Jarquez Hunter, drafted in the 4th round this year, has been looking good in training camp. Blake Corum also looking good in training camp. So my thoughts for Jarquez Hunter, if something happens this season, is that McVay's going to be very tight, holding the cards close to his chest, and he may not even know till in game. They may split up the workload. One might be the starter, the other one's getting the next series, and then the hot hand's going to get rode. But when you look at the ADP split here, you're looking at both these backup running backs not getting drafted in most traditional leagues, and I think that's okay. You're just going to have to be very fast off the waiver wire if something happens, and you're probably going to have to pony up a lot of fab. However, if you do have a spot, if you have Kyron Williams, and maybe you drafted him as your RB1, and you know that workload's very hefty, maybe you pick up him or Corum. Hunter's good. He's got good vision. He's got good speed. He's explosive through the hole. He has the intangibles to hit good in fantasy football. So doesn't Blake Corum. That's the thing about this. And we know McVay. He's quiet. He's reserved. He's stoic. One of the most stoic coaches in all of football. The Rams don't post many clips. I got clips of Hunter's training camp on my channel if you want to look at that. Looking solid. But he's going undrafted in drafts right now. But a guy to pay attention to off the waiver wire, if you want to pull up on him with one of your last picks, him or Corum, and you got Kyron Williams, go ahead. There's a lot of other dart throws, though, that I like. RJ Harvey. News on him is that potentially he's the RB2. That came out like a day and a half ago. A lot of people worried about the pass protection issues. A lot of people not. Twitter went off about this. But the process remains the same. When it comes to these rookie running backs that are getting good draft capital in your drafts, mid-round or higher, you have to account for a rookie ramp-up. That's for damn near every rookie that comes out. About 90% of them. Running back might be a little bit lighter, and usually first rounders, they get touches quicker. There's more expectations to them earlier. That being said, there's going to be a rookie ramp-up here. Like, he might be okay getting you some points here and there to start off the season, but there's going to be a time where he takes over the backfield. It's going to happen. It might be sooner than later. It might be later than later, but we don't know. But odds are, if you can handle a rookie ramp up, you have no business drafting a rookie so high because you're not patient enough. It's not just player good, player bad. It's also how you play the game. If you're not patient, you're going to drop Devin Achane before week 3 when he blows up after scoring like 1.9 points in 2 weeks. Then you do not deserve to be drafting those rookies. You should be letting them go to somebody else and let the breakout happen with them whenever it happens. And you take that veteran player and you get that production that makes you feel good for the first few weeks of the season. You see how the season unfolds. One of my favorite double-digit round running backs, and in this range of the draft, there's a lot of them. He's climbing up the board. They're going to run it a lot. Justin Fields is not throwing it 30-plus times a game. There might be a couple times he's in the 30s, but this is going to be a run-heavy team with him and Breece Hall. They're going to use the RPO action. They're going to have him in space with that. This is a running back that's going to be good in double-digit rounds. I'll draft him naked without Breece Hall, but I will cuff him to Breece Hall as well. I just think the price is amazing for a year 2 breakout with a running back that's young, that broke out at 17 years old in college football, and now you're looking at him in the league, and he's looking better and better every time we see him. Now we're looking at Isaac Garando. You're good to drop him. You're good to fade him. and they got more competition in this backfield. He got hurt again. You're good to drop him. I got questions about that, so I threw him in this video. He's got 4.3 speed. He's a shotgun running back. He's big Keaton Mitchell. We said that last year. He's big Keaton Mitchell. Any given touch, he could go off. He did that last year, and that could potentially happen. But maybe you get back with him on the waiver wire later on down the road if injuries hit. They added to this running back depth chart with Brian Robinson. You're good to drop him and pick up another lottery ticket running back. Ray Davis is a lottery ticket running back I like. If James Cook goes down, he's going to eat. He's going to feast. He should be drafted in all leagues. If I have Cook, I got Davis, and I'm rolling with it. Multiple RB2 weeks last year, even with him sharing the backfield. He had one game as the guy, and he served us well. He looked good. He is the RB2, one of the top RB2s right now in fantasy football. Cam Skattebo, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait. You're paying a little bit less than RJ Harvey, but the strategy still remains the same because there's a lot of players to look at here. The running back position is deeper this year. Wide receiver is starting to thin out, but there's some upside plays you could look at, especially in home league drafts. Some of the rookie wide receivers will fade a little bit in drafts. You're going to have to wait. Coming back from the hamstring, gearing up to the speed of the game. Tyron Tracy's been looking good. You're going to have to wait until he starts hitting. It could be a couple weeks, maybe a couple quarters, but there's going to be some sort of waiting period here because he's been banged up. He's just now getting back at it. He might be good to go. Prove me wrong a little bit. More than likely, you're going to have to wait. So if you can't be patient, you can't have Skattebo because you're going to make a wrong decision weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. If you can be patient, if you can hold on tight, this is a good running back, good vision, very productive. Everything holds on tight with what he's done in college. Been looking solid. Draft capital is pretty good considering they came into day 3 after a good night's sleep and drafted him right away. That's good draft capital to me in the tightest, toughest, most talented running back class of all time that we've ever seen through the NFL draft. This is a running back prospect that you're going to have to be patient with this year. And I love James Conner. I love him. So if you do not want any of the rookies in this range, if you're looking for a veteran, James Conner is a running back to look at. Why is he here today? Because I've talked about him off and on, probably about once a week for the last couple months. Is because someone mentioned on Twitter, I forget who it is, it was a big account, and they said, what if James Conner's bad? I think the rebuttal about that, without any evidence, is that what if anybody else is bad? Like, that's the thing. Like, again, like, anybody could bust, but there's no evidence, really, that that's going to happen. He could get hurt, Father Time could step in, but there's no tangible proof. Nothing's going to change unless something changes. And there's no change right now in our face. All the advanced metrics, the efficiency ratings are saying, hey, this is a good running back. The amount of touches saying good to go. And if Father Time steps in, it is what it is. You don't live life worrying about things you can't control like that. Like, I can say what if about all these players, every single one, from Bijan all the way down to Pat Bryant. I could do that about every single one. What if the worst happens and make myself believe it? There are some situations that are better than others. There are players better than others. But again, there's evidence here showing us metrically, on the field wise, he's been looking good. And there's other players around him that you could pivot to if you want. There's other strategies where you end up with other players. But just to say any of these players here, any of them, is going to be bad just because they could be bad is the most ignorant thing out there. You got to have some proof, some number, or whatever that you're leading on to. Quinshon Judkins. He's cheap for what he is. He hasn't been practicing. He's not signed yet. That has been beaten to death. But when you're looking at Quinshon Judkins, you're looking at the value here. We knew a slow ramp up was going to be there. They're going to try and put him in somewhere down the line. It could be like week 10, though. It could be week 8. We don't know. This Browns team, this Browns coaching staff, ownership, leadership, very crusty, slow to react. He might be practicing for a bit. They might be stringing us along. He might be back on the waiver wire in September and you pick him up then. You don't have to drop a draft pick. The draft pick, though, is cheap. He's in a good range right now. And even in home league drafts, he's going at a good discount. Kaleb Johnson, same thing. Same thing. If you're expecting him to go off early and he's not and you drop him, that's shame on you. That's you. That's you. Because Jalen Warren's still there. The slower paced offense. Kenneth Gainwell is going to get some work. Arthur Smith will make you pull your hair out in some games. He did that with Bijan Robinson. There's a lot of puzzling factors here that's outside even Kaleb Johnson's control. He could be playing well. He could be breaking off runs and still competition, lack of touches, lack of opportunity. There's a lot of if there to start the year, but we are looking for him to take over nonetheless somewhere down the line. That could be later, though. That could be next year. That could be week 10, 11, 12. That could be later. He could have some big moments here and there, some splash plays to keep us in. But Kaleb Johnson is a very good running back prospect with a lot of upside. If you can't be patient, because I imagine you're going to need patience with him. You're going to need more patience with him than Henderson or Harvey in this range. So if you do not have the patience, then this is not for you. Brashard Smith is one of my favorite dart throw running backs. He is one of my favorites when it comes to looking at running backs with one of my last picks and just picking them. There's a few of them. I like Giddens. I like Ollie Gordon, but his value's rising up. But if it's a home league draft, a lot of times for you guys, Gordon's a little cheaper. There's a few more, but I like how he's being used in this Chiefs offense. I want to see if he's going to get more work down the line. I'm watching the routes. I'm watching the snaps throughout the season. I might be able to pick him up off waivers in some other leagues. I might be stashing more later of Brashard Smith. I might be playing around with him and playing chicken with the ADP to see if I can pick him up off waivers week 1, 2, 3 so I can get a good feel of how this offense is running with him. He is a 7th round pick, but he's getting work with the ones. I haven't talked about Kenneth Walker for a long time, but the thing about him is he's always going to miss some games. It always feels like he's on the injury report, but he's also always looking like he's going to go off whenever he's on the field. He's very explosive. Looks like that wide zone they're running out there is going to be advantageous for him. He got a lot of work in the passing game last year. He's running 20 routes per game. He's at a good price tag. And it really depends on who you're drafting with. If you're drafting with drafters scared of the injury or trying to be the smartest guy in the room, you might catch him a little bit cheaper. And maybe that discount's fine because you're going to get like 4 or 5 RB1 weeks. They might be scattered. You may not like the games missed. And even his low games are okay. He only had 2 bottom-out games last year outside the hurt games. Kenneth Walker, though, if you take him for what he is and you make sure you have other running backs with him, he's kind of fine. He's going to get you some good numbers. That being said, Zach Charbonnet at a good price. Charbonnet's at a good price here. Double-digit rounds, cheaper in home league drafts versus underdog. I see it on the images, the screenshots posted on Facebook of your drafts. He goes a little bit cheaper, and he's very efficient. He's good with the ball in his hands. If Walker's out, Charbonnet's stepping up. They're almost like a package deal. They almost should be drafted together. It should be just like Seahawks backfield, and you get these two. I like Charbonnet. I've liked him since Michigan. I've liked him since UCLA. I watched him throughout college. This is a damn good running back prospect. You got 2 more years on the deal. Maybe he goes somewhere else. I imagine they're going to want to keep him for a long time because he's bread and butter. Like, even football-wise, not even just fantasy football-wise, he's bread and butter. Like, you got a bigger running back who can catch balls out of the backfield, who can handle a lot of work, who's very efficient with the ball in his hands. This is a running back that's good for all NFL teams. This is a running back that all NFL teams want. This is a running back that's going to get you good fantasy production. And when given the opportunity, he's proven that last year and times before. I like Charbonnet at that price. If I got Kenneth Walker, even with the ADP split being kind of tight, I think I would still do it, considering how much these two can be in and out of lineup. Charbonnet was actually pretty good last year. The year prior, he was in and out a little bit. But still, knowing the Seattle backfield and the tendencies, I think I want these guys cuffed up together. But looking at these running backs today, it's deep with lottery tickets in the double-digit rounds. Shooting your shot might be a little sketchy for you, but just pick one and use that roster spot as a turn and burn option throughout the year, because this year is a lot deeper at the running back position. And I know you guys love Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritt. You guys drafted him up, but there's going to be more Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritts coming up throughout the season. You got to be ready. You got to have a spot open, and that lottery ticket spot, even if it's not hitting, could be the spot open that you could easily use to flip towards that next Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritt. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.